Good morning, everyone. So it's Friday, June the 22nd, and it's starting off to be a beautiful day, though I don't feel worth a shit. Didn't sleep well and then got up, and for some reason the drip coffee maker stopped up and run all over the counter while I was in the bathroom, and it's just not been the best of days so far. But I thought I'd hit on the blueberries a little bit. This bush has been loaded, and I've picked a gallon that I shared out the other day off of it, and the birds and the deers has been getting at it, and I took some cuttings off of it, and may take some more and try to root a few. I haven't rooted any in a dozen or more years, I reckon, and kind of interested in maybe trying some of the grow blocks with it, but they don't need to be as high as they are, as many as I got. But I need to keep enough height that the deer can't reach them all. And I do usually try to plant everything enough that I can share with the critters and the birds and whatever. It aggravates me whenever, like with the figs, the birds get into them and peck them and make a hole for the fruit flies to get in. And they won't come back to that one. They have to go to a brand new fig to peck it again. And with the blueberries, for them picking one, the cardinals are one of the worst about getting into fruit, and them flapping around to pick one berry and they'll knock a damn dozen off. But I think I have a pretty good crop still, and I think there's been about 4 gallons picked so far. But this is one that whenever I was coming by yesterday, I noticed that's deer tracks all up in here where the deers have cleaned them up and ate the new growth off of the bush and the berries. You can see we're just prancing around and been up there and had them a picnic. But as far as it goes, I'm about picked out anyway. That was part of my not sleeping good last night, was standing out here for several hours yesterday picking several gallons. I had started the day before and the heat got to me, so yesterday morning I come out and fought mosquitoes at 7 o'clock to try to get it done before it got too hot for me, and stayed a little longer than I ought to and had leg cramps. But I'm not just standing there. I'd brought a chair out yesterday to help with it. But that's where the deers aggravate me. They eat all the ones low, and then I have to try to bend the bushes over. These have been picked somewhat. I have 4 varieties, and they bear at different times of the season, some earlier and some later. And my earliest ones are all cleaned off the bush right now, and some of the olders, these up here under this live oak tree, run up. They have some really good berries on them, but in a lot of cases the live oak tree is a good perch for the birds. I had put the wire around them when I first moved them out here with all the new growth. The little rabbits like to eat the tops off of them, and like I said, deers do too. And I had intended a number of them. I did get the wire off, and some I didn't. And now with branches growing out through the wire, it's kind of almost impossible unless I just cut all the wire out, in which it's not really hurting anything. So these are a little black grape. I should have showed the the white ones while I was coming in by the old pump house back there. But it's loaded. And the coons and possums and just all kind of things love them. This is a American beautyberry bush and has pretty little flowers on it, but it's the setting the purple berries that really make it stand out. And I have a number of them around, and I've dug some up last year, and no one has said whether any of them lived or not, so I don't know how well they transplanted. But in looking them up, they talked about nurseries selling them, so I assume that somewhere somebody is potting them up to sell. But I haven't done it. Like I say, I dug some up just bare root and shipped them, as I do so many things. I had forgotten about a pepper plant that I had, and I guess I planted it last year, and so last year there was a turmeric, and I'm pretty sure it must have sprouted last year, but then again I don't know, but it has sprouted up this year, and I'm going to take all this apart just because it has gotten so weedy and everything else, and peppers, it could be rejuvenated, but it's just not worth my time and effort. That I just don't get enough done as it is with my time, so I have to kind of allocate it to the priority things. And I want to get some more of this hibiscus done. If it ever puts any nice branches a little bit more on it than that, then I'm going to try to take some cuttings. And one of the first seed pods that it had fell off. It wasn't pollinated. It had just, but then some of them I've been taking my finger and trying to collect the pollen and put it on the what do they call it, piston or something. Anyway, the sex organs, swap it around for them, have sex with the flower. And I hope that some of them maybe will go to seed. And if it wasn't for that, I'd plant it in the yard, but I really want to protect it until I have more of them. The same with some of these others. Turmeric has really done so well, and this avocado is just blowing my mind this year. And I'm going to try some the grow blocks where the kratom didn't make it. I always just start the spearmint and peppermint in a glass of water and the rosemary and all that, but I think I'm going to put some down in the grow blocks. A friend that was over yesterday thought these were magnolias. I had to tell her, nope, they're jackfruit. And this avocado was already up against the plastic whenever I moved it out, and it had been frostbitten. That was the reason it's branching so up in the top here, was because of the frostbite. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the jackfruit, especially if I put them in bigger pots. I just don't know how I'll work them around. And some of the cuttings that I have gotten repotted and put in there, I just opened it up, let them get a little air this morning. And some that the first ones I've done, there's a rufat back in the left corner, the top one up there, it's not looking real well, and I'm going to try to put him back in the humidity box and take another one out. And I had mixed in that the worm castings and the soil moist in this, and one of the bumblebees here in the front has just kind of run up a bit, so it's one that I'll be taking some cuttings off. And somebody asked me about the leaves I harvest, And whenever they start looking like that, I start picking them, and I need to pick a handful, and they're laying all over the dirt out here. Never did do anything so far with my sweet potatoes. And that galanga is just growing to beat the band. Those are the old blocks, like I said, the kratom cuttings that I'd taken and put into those didn't make it, but some did in the same boxes, and some are still hanging in there. And this is the way some of them look. I came by that one this morning, and like that is what I was thinking about doing a contest and giving away 2 boxes like this for the 4th of July. But it will be 2 different contests in the same thing. One will be a box with 2 kratom cuttings like this with the roots showing. I can't tell you what variety they'll be. It'll just be 2 that come out at that time. If there's a bunch of them, then I'll ask what variety you may want. But that's my plan. You have to decide which one you want to enter. The other will be a box like that with cuttings, maybe some seed. That might be a good time for me to take that turmeric out up there and stuff it in a box. But all you got to do is just tell me which one you want, that you want to be in the drawing for the kratom, or you want to be in a drawing for the plants, cuttings and things. But you can't be into both. And it doesn't matter if you've won before or not. It's just, like I said, I try to keep everything as simple as I can. And that's just it. Tell me which one you want to draw for. A box of plant cuttings and such, or little kratom cuttings, 2 that have root already on them. And that's what we'll do. Hope everyone has a blessed day. And I'm fixing to see if I can get out here and do a little bit more work.